Don't miss the Green and Growing Show in the noon to 9 p.m. hours on Eagle TV. Ellis County Horticulture Agent Holly Dickman will identify common lawn and garden issues while providing up-to-date information. Watch weekdays in the noon to 9 p.m. hours on Channel 14 or 614. Green and Growing, brought to you by Riedel's Garden Center, a full-service garden center west of Hayes on Highway 40, and Eagle TV.
With our current weather conditions, it takes a real expert to create landscape that'll thrive. Riedel's Garden Center has the staff with the expertise of water requirements for plants, lawns, and landscapes that'll stand up to our changing weather conditions. With 25 years of hands-on experience, owner Darren Riedel will customize a landscape design and irrigation system to meet your expectations and our climate. It's recommended to protect your lawn using Fertilome products available at Riedel's Garden Center, an authorized dealer. Call or stop by Riedel's Garden Center today.
We're getting into the month of June, and this is when our soils start to really warm up. The heat's on, and summer's just around the corner, and so there's some things to consider if you have a garden, one of which to help you out a ton is the use of mulch. And so mulch is something that is very beneficial for many reasons. Mulch will help to keep the moisture in the soil longer. So when you have bare soil like we have here, this moisture just evaporates very quickly in the heat of the day. If you have a nice layer of mulch, it'll help hold it in. It's almost like a blanket. It helps to insulate the soil. Not only does that keep the moisture in the soil, but it also helps to keep the soil temperatures cooler. You know, during the heat of summer, when it's 100 degrees, the soil down to 4 inches deep can get upwards of 100 degrees or more sometimes. So think about sitting in that type of condition. If you were, this little tomato plant and your roots were in 100-degree soil, you probably wouldn't function too well. And so it's good to have some mulch there to help insulate the soil, keep things a little bit cooler. The other thing that helps is with disease. And so when you have a nice layer of mulch, when it rains, the water isn't splashing those soil particles up on the bottom of those leaves, and that mulch can help prevent some of that splashing. That's a source of disease sometimes, especially on tomatoes. And so there's different things to consider there as well. One final thing that I personally think is awesome is when you have mulch, you don't have as many weeds. So who has time to go out and weed their garden every single day? I know I don't. And so it's good to have a nice thick layer of mulch. When I'm talking about mulch in a garden, a lot of times people like to use hay or straw. Wheat straw is great if you can get your hands on some of that, but some people like to use grass clippings as well. What we generally recommend if you're using wheat straw is that it's a nice thick layer, at least 2 to 4 inches thick. And this will give you the best benefit as far as weed control and moisture retention and cooling of that soil. So you want to make sure and go ahead and put a nice thick layer of mulch around your plants. If you can, it's not always easy to do, but if you can keep it away from the base of the plant, that's probably a good thing. You don't want to have that mulch piled up right against the stems of anything, whether it's a tree or a shrub or a vegetable plant, just because it holds that moisture so well that it can cause some issues with that individual plant. But a nice thick layer of mulch spread all the way around the plant will help with all those things I mentioned earlier. Now, if you like to use grass clippings, which I know a lot of gardeners do because they have them readily available if they're mowing their lawn, you need to consider a couple different things. One is you don't need as thick of a layer. You only want about an inch thick layer of grass clippings. And you want to make sure that those grass clippings are dry. The other major thing to consider is, has there been any sort of herbicide or weed killer sprayed on those grass clippings? If there has, you need to know exactly what it was and how long that residual is. If it's something like 2,4-D, that has a residual of a couple of weeks at least. I would not use grass clippings from a lawn that's been sprayed with something like that for at least a couple of weeks. If it's something like quinclorac, which is one of those newer chemicals on the market that is great on bindweed, it's great on a lot of different weeds, that has a very long residual, up to 18 months. So you really want to make sure that you know what's being applied to your lawn before you ever use any sort of grass clippings in your garden, because those things can have an effect on the health of the plant. If you have questions about mulching, contact your local extension office for more information. We have lots of information about gardening in general, and we are here at the Backyard Family Garden at the Ag Research Center. You're welcome to come out and take a look at this garden. We have signage up kind of explaining what's here, and it will continue to develop as the years go on, hopefully. So if you have questions about gardening or would like to see one up close, maybe you're just getting started, go ahead and come out and visit us. Reporting for K-State Research and Extension and Eagle TV, I'm Holly Dickman, Ellis County Horticulture Extension Agent.
Don't miss the Green and Growing Show in the noon to 9 p.m. hours on Eagle TV. Ellis County Horticulture Agent Holly Dickman will identify common lawn and garden issues while providing up-to-date information. Watch weekdays in the noon to 9 p.m. hours on Channel 14 or 614. Green and Growing, brought to you by Riedel's Garden Center, a full-service garden center west of Hayes on Highway 40, and Eagle TV.
With our current weather conditions, it takes a real expert to create landscape that'll thrive. Riedel's Garden Center has the staff with the expertise of water requirements for plants, lawns, and landscapes that'll stand up to our changing weather conditions. With 25 years of hands-on experience, owner Darren Riedel will customize a landscape design and irrigation system to meet your expectations and our climate. It's recommended to protect your lawn using Fertilome products available at Riedel's Garden Center, an authorized dealer. Call or stop by Riedel's Garden Center today.